Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to my Golang programming tutorial crash course. Today I will be introducing you guys as to how to use Golang and the overall phenomenons that are in there. Golang was a programming language invented by Google and takes phenomenons from high-level programming languages as well as low-level programming languages. So some examples would be Python is a high level and C++ is a low level, and it works together and creates this amazing hybrid of the two. Today, the main things we will be learning about is how to install it on your system, variables, loops, printing, grabbing user input, and functions. So let's dive right in. The first thing we're going to want to do is install it for our operating system. So you can explore the downloads just by going to their website, which is golang.org. And in fact, let's just look at the website. So over here, once you come onto their website, you will immediately be prompted by a download go button, which you can click. Over here, you can get it for Windows, Apple, and Linux. I currently have a Mac, and I'm going to use the and I would download the Apple macOS model if this was my first time. Okay. So that's the, so once you've clicked download, there will be a bunch of file installers. And after that, you are basically, you have installed Go. But you also need to make sure that you've installed it correctly. So open up your terminal. All right. And this is how it would look like. You would, let me just zoom that in. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is type Go. And as you can see, I've been given this very clean, no red lines worth of errors. That means that everything I've done is correct. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is open up Visual Studio Code, or whatever editor you like to use. All right, and what we're going to do is, we're just going to go on to our Visual Studio file. Okay. All right, here we are. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do is just install the extension for Golang. This next part is completely optional, but will be very helpful for you guys. So what you're going to want to do is click the settings icon, and then click onto extensions. Over here, just type in Go. Okay. As you can see, I already have this installed. This was made by the Go team at Google. Okay. The next thing what you're going to want to do is make a file or a folder, and then create a file. Let's call this main.go. All right. Now we have successfully created our first Go file. Okay. Now we will be working on making some basic boilerplate code in order to make a working program. So the first thing we're going to want to do is type in package main. So you write package main regardless of the name of your file, and with the use of package main, your compiler will be able to understand that this is the file that needs to be run. If you have some functions that you want to store in another file to make your code cleaner, you're not going to want to write package main. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is create a function called main. Similar as to how C# and Java work, and C++, you always need a main function. Your main function is going to be the function that the compiler reads first. Just so you guys know, however, if you guys have functions in different files, do not have a main function. Otherwise, it might not run properly. Okay? The next thing we're going to want to do is import some packages. So by importing certain packages, our Go application will have some more capabilities in order to do things. The first thing we're going to do is a simple hello world. So in order to do so, we will simply import the format library. It's called import fmt. And then we simply go fmt.println hello world. Okay. Now, in order to run our application, we'll simply go onto our terminal. Whoops. Yeah, we'll simply go onto our terminal, and let me actually zoom this in a bit more. Yeah, okay. And we're going to type in go run main.go. Oh, sorry, I don't have the correct directory. cd go tutorial. Okay, that's going to be go run main.go. And as you can see, we've now printed out hello world perfectly and perfectly. One thing to know about the Go programming language is that the Go programming language is very, what's it called? It's very strict based on what the variables you create. If you have made a variable that doesn't have any real value, it will create an error. And I will show that to you guys in just a moment. Okay, so let's suppose if I create, let me first explain to you guys how to create some basic integers and strings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is tell the compiler that you're making a variable. So you type in var. All right. Now let's suppose if my variable is my age. I'm going to write var age is equal to 10. Okay. And I'm just going to print out my age. All right. Now, currently, what's happening, now let me just run that for you guys, just so you guys see it. So yeah, it just prints out 10. Now currently, the compiler is reading it like this. I'm going to make a variable called age, and it's going to have the value 10. So the way Go works is that currently the variable is an integer, because 10 is an integer number. But let's suppose if we want it to be more strict or statistically typed, we can simply write an int over here. This will also make our code slightly faster, as the compiler will not need to take time to understand what type of data type it is. All right. Similarly, we can also create a string. So let's call this var data string is equal to hello there. Will be 1. Okay, as you can see, there's an error coming up. This is because I haven't used the data variable. So that's that's what I mean by Go being a very strictly typed language. Okay, so for the sake of this, we can actually just remove this because we don't really need this. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to convert from integer to string. All right, so I'm going to create. In fact, let me just hello there. My age is. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first print out data, and I want to print out the age right beside it. So I'm going to print out data plus, and I'm going to import a library called string convert. So import strconv. String, that's just string convert. All right, and then I'm just going to go string convert dot itoa. And it's just going to be the age. Oh, that's the problem. Oh, string conf. There we go. Okay, now let's just try and run this. Yeah. Hello there. My age is 10. Okay. Now, the next thing we will be exploring is for loops and while loops. Now, the way for loops and while loops work is that you have a loop that keeps on running over and over until a certain condition is met. There are two types of loops in the, or really three types of loops in the computer science field. The first one is for loops. For loops will run until a certain condition has been completed. So for an example, for example, like if there's a variable called I, like so, like let's suppose I is equal to 5. Okay. All right. Then let's just suppose if I say that for I is greater than 10, for example, and then it would be like, or actually for 10 greater than I, and then it would execute it, and then what's going to happen is that I'm going to add 1 to I each time. That's how a for loop works. A while loop works on one certain condition, and not until that condition is met, it will keep on running. Golang, however, only has for loops. However, with the power of common sense, we can, what's happening? Could not import. Yeah, okay. So, but with the power of common sense, we can, what's it called? We can basically like fix this problem. Like we can just avoid it altogether. So let's actually show you guys how to import our, let's show you guys how to make a for loop now. Okay, so first, so let's just clear all of this. Okay, and let's just create var, I don't know, test. And it's going to be an integer, obviously. I'm just going to comment this one out because I don't need to string convert. All right, so I'm making an integer variable, and it's going to be equal to 0. All right, now for test is unequal to 5, let's just suppose. All I'm going to do now is just, I'm going to add 1 to test, obviously, so test plus plus, so that's called incrementing, and then I'm going to be, wait, expected Boolean or range expression found assignment. Oh. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. That was a syntaxical mistake. Then I'm going to just print out print line. And it's going to be hello. All right. Now let's just run that. Go run main.go. And now it prints out hello for a total of 5 times. As you can see, this is how you would make a for loop or a while loop. Okay, the next thing we will be learning about is how to grab user input. User input is a very important part when designing console applications. For an example, when I use my terminal and I type something in, like Go, I'm able to get like certain data. When designing a console application or even debugging or testing, you need to be able to get some user input. Competitive programmers, for example, also use the user input in order to test their code. Okay, so in order to do so, we don't need to import any new libraries. We can simply just use a scanline sublibrary. So let me show you guys how this works. So let me first of all create a string. So var text string is equal to hello, my age is, all right. And now let's suppose if I want to get some user input for what their actual age is. The first thing I'm going to want to do is, okay, the first thing I'm going to want to do is initialize an integer that will store that value. So var age int, and I'm not going to give it any value. I'm just going to leave it like that. The next thing I'm going to do is fmt dot scanline, or scanline. That's going to be a pointer to age. Now, I'm not going to go over pointers in this video. I have made a video on it that I will link in the description, however. But basically what's happening is that it's creating user input that will go to the age variable. Okay? Next, I'm just going to be like format dot println, like how I did earlier. Okay, I'm going to go format dot println, and then I'm going to import the string library. Okay, and it's going to be test plus what's the so it's string conf, so conf dot itoa, and it's going to just be the age integer. All right, so let's try and run this. So go run main.go. Oh yeah, so now I have to write my age. So my age is 15. So there we go, it would be like, hello, my age is 15. We can make this a bit more cleaner too, if we go like this. Please enter your age. All right, and now if I were to run this, please enter your age, and my age is going to be 15. Hello, my age is 15. Okay, now the next thing and the final thing we will be working on is called functions. So functions, so we've actually worked a little bit on functions already, like how we talked about the main function. All right, now let's suppose if you want to create extra functions to make your code cleaner and easier to debug. So first of all, what's a function? A function is something that takes certain values, changes them, and returns them. I know that sounds very easy and a much more of an abstraction, and if you are like a programmer, you will be raising a couple of eyebrows at me. But in a logical sense, that is all the function does. All right, so let's try and make a function that adds two numbers together. Why am I doing this? This is because literally every single coding tutorial does it. So I might as well copy it because I need subscribers. Okay, so let's just remove everything from here for now. All right. Okay. So let's create a function called add. So we're going to write func add, and it's going to add two numbers together. So the first number, let's just call it an integer called x. So we're going to write x int, comma, y int. And every function always returns something. So this function will return an integer. And the integer will simply be return x plus y. Okay? Now let's actually grab some user input so that the user can pick two numbers that need to be calculated. So let's just create one variable, so var first int. All right? We're going to be like fmt.println enter your first number. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have used semicolons quite a bit. You don't need to use them, but it's a good practice because most languages do require them. I know you won't be a big fan of them, especially if you're from Python like me, but it is what it is. All right, and fmt.scanline, and we're just going to create a pointer to first. Okay. Now let's just repeat the exact same thing once more. And this will be our second number. And we'll just create another variable called second. How do I spell that? Second. I'm just going to spell it like that because it saves time. All right. And now all we're going to want to do is print out the two numbers. So we're going to be like fmt.println, and all we're going to do is scan it. Or we're going to call the function first. To call the function, you type the function and two brackets. Now, depending on what your function requires, like my function requires two integers, I'm going to take first, and then I'm going to take second. Okay? Now, we're going to write go run main.go. Oh, I have to remove this. Go run main.go. My first number is 200. My second number is 50. My answer is 250. Boom. As you can see, we have now successfully learned several different concepts of Golang within 20 minutes. All right, I hope you guys benefited from watching this video. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and watch my other video regarding the pointers with Go. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.